I can't sleep, so I want to tell you it's keeping me up at night. Today is my 5-year anniversary of getting run over. Usually I'd spend this beautiful day reflecting on my actions, on how I ended up getting run over, but today I decided, you know what, let's revisit it for TikTok, you know what I mean? 5 years ago, I decided I wanted to go on a weight loss journey. Famous last words, famous last words. I decided I was gonna go see the gym for the first time in my life, like the one on campus, you know what I mean? I show up, it's not as intimidating as I thought, and I was like, you know what, starting tomorrow, new Adib, I'm gonna be a gym rat, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, all good, you know what I mean? Good vibe so far. Now, it was in the middle of Ramadan, horrible time to start, go to the fucking gym, but it's fine. Like, I was fasting, I wasn't eating or drinking anything during the day, you got the vibes, whatever. After I check out the gym for the first time, I pick up my bike and I'm about to leave, right? And I leave and I get to the intersection literally right next to the gym, like on campus, like in front of everybody, you know what I mean? And I'm like about to cross the street and it's like green for me, you know what I mean? I see a car like pulling up slowly and it, stopped at the traffic light, you know what I mean? So I'm like starting to cross, then it clocked it like while I was crossing. Like I jumped on my bike because I was about to start biking after that intersection, you know what I mean? So I jumped on my bike, I wasn't even pedaling, like I was just on it, like slowly moving away, you know what I mean? And I see the girl, like, she's looking left, but taking a right turn. She doesn't see me. So I was like, hey. And all of her windows are up. And I was like, hey. She doesn't look at me. I was like, I'm screwed. Next thing you know, she's like, running over my foot, running over my front wheel first. It like bends over my foot and the pedal and it sandwiches everything basically. She runs over my foot fully. I'm like, and like my bike is like under her car. And like, she felt a bump, bro. She felt a bump and she didn't even do anything. You know what I mean? She felt the bump and she just like looked at me, like all windows up. And I was like in pain. Like I felt like my foot was spaghetti, like it was over. You know what I mean? I'm banging at the front of her car. I'm like, stop, don't move. And she looks at me and she's like, huh? And I was like, reverse, go back, rewind, any fucking thing, you know what I mean? She looks at me and I swear to God, like I remember in the moment, I felt like I was watching that one meme of Trisha Paytas making fun of like that one Lady Gaga movie, being like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? That one, it felt like that because she looked at me, she's like, and then she fucking went forwards and fully like ran over my foot. I was like, here we go, I'm officially I'm dead. You know what I mean? I was like, great. The one time I want to go to the gym, my foot gets broken. Amazing. God doesn't want me to lose weight. She runs over my foot fully, but like, the bike is still under her tire or whatever. So I'm trying to like wiggle it out and I was like banging on the front of her car. Don't move. And there's no way she didn't she felt the iron like my bike hit the bottom of her car. You know what I mean? She's just looking at me like fully like in shock at this point. I think she finally understood what the fuck was going on. She looks at me and she was like, oh. And then I feel like realized what I was saying in the beginning, and then she started reversing. Which meant that she ran me over twice in the same fucking moment. It's fine. It's fine. And now I have ramen for a foot, you know what I mean? And now I'm like, okay, great. Like, fuck you, fuck me, fuck everything, But I'm still, like, under her car. Like, I can't wiggle myself out, So I'm begging on the car. I'm like, please just don't move. I'm wiggling my foot out, like, slowly, right? I lose a shoe. My phone is in the middle of the fucking highway. And, I'm like crawling back to the gym steps, right? Because it's right fucking behind me and everyone fucking saw it. I heard a collective gasp when I got run over. It's fine. Did anyone help me? No. Someone picked up my phone though, which was nice, and then gave it to me. And I'm like sitting on the steps, like broken foot. My bike is still in the middle of like that little mini intersection, whatever. And she's just like outside of her car, like staring at me like this, right? She picks up my bike, puts it right next to me, gets back in her car, drives off. I wanted to. She starts driving off. She gets to the traffic light. There's a traffic jam. So she's stuck in front of me, constantly staring at me, and I can see her. Like we're maintaining eye contact at this point because she's right fucking in front of me, and she's stuck in traffic, and I'm sitting there like with noodles for a foot. You know what I mean? But it's fine. Two police officers show up, but they're on bikes. Of course. They're on bikes. They show up, and they're like, it's fine. Like we caught they had like there's this little like body cams. They're like, we caught the entire thing on camera, like, don't even worry, like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, can you guys, like, take me to the hospital? They were like, sir, we're on bikes. How can we take you to the hospital? I was like, you're trying to be funny right now? I was like, so what are my options? Like, how do I get to the hospital? They were like, well, do you have insurance? Like, can you call an ambulance? I was like, no, I don't have $6,000 to spare right now. No, I'm not calling a fucking ambulance right now. Like, what do I do? They're like, you could call an Uber, I guess. I was like, amazing. He saw the cops pull up because she was stuck in traffic, you know what I mean? She does a U-turn, she comes back, she plays all innocent, comes out of the car, looks at me, and she's like, I'm so sorry, I just didn't want to cause a traffic jam behind me. She was alone in the street. She's like, I'm so sorry. And then she's starting to speak to the cops. She's like, what can we do? And then they both look at each other, look at me, and they're like, well, she can drive you. I was like, the person that ran me over can drive me to the hospital? Amazing. So I get in the car. So I get in the car and, like, she starts driving off. The hospital is, like, barely, like, 10 minutes away, right? She's in scrubs. This is the first time that I clock it. She's in scrubs. So I'm like, the whole time, the person that's supposed to fix me is running me over, but it's fine. It's fine, Get in the car, like, we're driving. We're, like, 5 minutes into the, the trip or whatever. Barely 5 minutes left. At this point, the adrenaline's wearing off. My foot is, like, actually in pain. You know what I mean? I can't move it. It's, like, swollen. I'm like, fuck my life. I'm still shoeless, by the way. And she parks on the side. I was like, why are we parking? What's going on? She parks on the side to sob, to cry. I was like, listen, I understand, ma'am. You just ran someone over. Bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean? I'm bleeding. Take me to... But... what the fuck? She's like, I'm so sorry. I just didn't mean to, like, hit you. And, like, I didn't mean to drive up. And I was like, I understand that you have a lot of emotions. I would be crying, too, if I ran someone over. But I would be crying and driving. You know what I mean? So... let's get to the hospital, okay? She starts driving eventually. She gets to the hospital, and she parks, like, right in front of the hospital, and she's like, okay. I was like, okay, what? You want me to just hop into the fucking front desk? Like, do something. Call someone from inside. Like, what do you mean, okay? You work here. She's like, okay. And then she, goes inside, gets a wheelchair, gets me inside, like, whatever, right? So now we're inside. We see the front desk lady. Mind you, I got wheeled past someone that was bleeding from his head. And I was like, how am I a priority? But it's fine. You know what I mean? Anyways, we see, like, the nurse that, measures your height and weight and everything, right? So we go into that, like, little office. She starts doing all of that business, whatever. And then she goes, like, so what's the problem today? And I was like, oh, I just got run over. And she's like, oh, are you okay? Like, whatever. I was like, well, obviously not. You know what I mean? And she was like, oh, like, if you don't mind me asking, but, like, just for our records, but, like, what happened exactly? And I was like, well, I was just crossing the street and, like, I got run over on my bike. And then she was like, oh, okay, do you know who ran you over or anything? And I was like, her? She looks at me, she looks at her, she looks at me, she looks at her, and she goes, okay. And I was like, you've never been through this before. I know it. Like, you've never had the culprit, take the victim into the, you know what I mean? That's new to you. So she looks at her, scrub outfit, whatever, and she's like, oh, okay, like, you work here too? And she was like, yeah, like, I'm a student, whatever. And she's like, okay, like, I guess it's fine. So she was like, do you mind if she stays with you? And I was like, well, yeah, because she better pay for my bills, you know what I mean? Like, come on. We finished processing all of that, and then she, they take us to the waiting room or whatever, where, like, the doctor's about to see us. They put me on a hospital bed, and then, she sits, like, right across the street. You know what? Let me show you. She sits right there, and, I had to Snapchat it, because, like... And she, like, wouldn't talk to me, you know what I mean? And after a while, like, the place started getting busy, so she had to, like, actually sit right next to me, which made it more awkward, because she literally did not speak to me the entire time, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not kidding. Like... Maybe after, like, an hour of us sitting in absolute silence, like, no conversation whatsoever, she's just, like, furiously typing while wearing Chanel shoes. It's fine, you know what I mean? She starts sobbing uncontrollably. What do I say? What do I... At that point, I lost it. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I don't know what's more embarrassing. You know what I mean? Or what's more awkward. Being run over in the middle of campus, in front of everybody, a collective gasp was heard when I got run over, you know what I mean? But the fact that she had to roll me into the hospital, the fact that she cried while driving me there, and while sitting right next to me, but also never spoke to me about anything, you know what I mean? Like, never actually said sorry or anything, you know what I mean? Like, just ran me over and just sat there, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's so awkward. And after all, after, like, a couple of hours, like, whatever, she, like, I convinced her finally, like, I was like, you should leave, and I'll just call you, like, when the doctor comes and, like, the bill comes, you know what I mean? Because she lives right next to the hospital, whatever. So she finally leaves. And, when she leaves, I start calling all my friends and, like, my family and everything. I'm, like, telling them, actually, I didn't tell my family because they would have actually been so embarrassed for me, you know what I mean? But I did call my friends and I told them about the entire thing. Everyone in the hospital was dying laughing at me. I was like, don't laugh at me right now, like, I'm in pain. She finally comes back, like, well, after the doctor did the x-rays and everything, she finally comes back. She's in a new outfit. It's, like, fully, you know what I mean? Like, designer head to toe. It's fine. Like, even, no scrubs anymore, And she basically was like, okay, how much for you to not, call the insurance, whatever. So I was like, as long as you fix my bike and replace it and pay for all the hospital bills, I'm fine. You know what I mean? So she paid for all the hospital bills at the time. I went home. I called her about the bike. She didn't want to fix the bike. You know what I mean? She stole my bike. Did not return it. I ended up having to sue her, which lasted 2 years until I could get my bike back and the rest of my hospital bills. It's fine. It's fine. But you know what? It's my 5-year anniversary. I'm finally free. I've been paid. The hospital bills have been paid. My bike has been replaced. It's all good. So, I just thought, I guess look left and right before you cross the street. Because you know what's worse than getting run over? The embarrassment. I don't know what to tell you.